Okay. एक बार पढ़ लेता हूँ. Rani was standing in the roof of a 13-story building, ready to jump. Suddenly, her phone starts ringing. She takes out a phone from her pocket and sees that a 10-year-old daughter is trying to reach her. Keeping this situation as a beginning, write a short story which starts from here and is able to span a 20-minute episode. That is very important. Huh? Let's see how many of you have been able to understand the brief. So you are required to write not a script, but a short story which will span a 20-minute, which can give birth to a 20-minute episode. That's important. Okay. Chalo, दुर्गेश्वरी पढ़ो. और word limit क्या था तुम लोगों का?
सर मैंने 20 मिनट्स के हिसाब से लिखा.
अच्छा, ऐसा word limits कुछ नहीं है ना?
तो 300 वर्ड.
300 words. अच्छा, okay. 300. Okay, chalo, एक second. 300 words. You can see the screen, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes.
chalo, पढ़ो.
Looking at the infinite horizon, Rani takes a step on the edge of the terrace of KEM Hospital. A lone parrot, screeching frantically, flies above her. She looks at it and then again at the horizon. The siren of an ambulance is heard in the distance, which gradually increases as it nears the hospital. Rani looks at the ambulance, which is of the shape of a minivan. An obese woman with an oxygen cylinder on struggles to get out of the ambulance. The hospital staff, wearing PPE kits, comes to her rescue. They take her on a wheelchair. A young woman cries as she sees the obese woman being taken inside the hospital. The young woman is denied entry. Rani looks at them from above and rubs her palms on her face, only to feel that her eyelashes too have gone. She walks towards the backside of the hospital. She takes a look down and sees hospital waste wrapped in black disposable bags lying in heaps. So can you scroll down? Just then, her phone starts ringing. She takes out her phone and sees that it is her daughter Pinky calling. She picks up her phone. Hello, Mama. Masi told me that they will not go to immerse Papa's ashes as the COVID germs might still be in it. She says that when will you come back from the hospital, then you can do the immersion yourself, tells Pinky. Rani does not say a word, only listens to her. What happened, Mama? Why are you not talking with me? First, Papa stopped talking and now, asks Pinky. It's nothing, Pinky. Promise me that you will not trouble Masi and that you will make Mama, Papa proud one day, tells Rani. Yes, Mama, replies Pinky. I have to go on a long journey since I cannot cope up with everything. Masi will take care of you. Saying this, Rani cuts the call. She keeps her phone in the purse. Her phone again starts ringing. She takes it out to see that her sister is calling. She cuts the call and throws the phone on the garbage piled below. She takes a step forward but again takes it back. She keeps fidgeting with her fingers and looking at the ground. Just then, a man in a PPE kit comes running from behind and pulls her hand. Rani gets startled. He asks her to get down. Rani blank. Suddenly, she is not able to hear anything. She cannot get what the man is trying to tell her. She can only see a figure making gestures at her. She stands on the edge, dumbstruck. The man does not leave her hand and calls out loudly for help. Hearing his cries, more people come running in PPE kits. Very kindly and with a lot of care, they persuade Rani to get down and take her down the staircase.
देखो यहाँ पे एक from standing on a 13-story building ready to jump. The building could be a residential building. You have written about a hospital. Suddenly a phone starts ringing. She takes out a phone from the pocket and sees a 10-year-old daughter is trying to reach her. Keeping this right, a short story that starts from here and is able to span a 20-minute episode. ठीक है, तुमने you have written about a woman who's basically suffering from COVID and she has been hospitalized. The husband is dead. Okay,
yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
she's about to kill herself when she gets a call from her daughter. Okay, asking her when will she be back. But she has already made up her mind that she's going to kill herself and tells her daughter कि मौसी तुम्हारा ख्याल रखेगी, है ना?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and she's about to jump when she is caught by the staff and she's brought down from the parapet. Before that, from her point of view, we see that the oxygen, the ambulance comes and these women. Okay, so what is the relevance of this particular this thing situation where she can see a woman is being PP as a hospital staff very quickly comes to rescue. So this woman is also suffering from kind of COVID. And so you established
Yes,
the
sir.
COVID situation and the
Yes, sir.
fact that the hospital staff wearing PP kits comes to a rescue and the young woman is not allowed inside. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
these are like the initial stages of the COVID when people were in panic for all the right reasons, of course, and especially
Right, sir.
during the second killer wave where a lot of people died. Okay, and this woman also will die, she knows, and she tries to kill herself. What I like about your writing is it's very visual, and we can see the way you have written is um, the visual language. You've been able to use the visual language, okay, and um, but this is not sufficient for. Is this 300 words? How many words have you used?
No, sir. I didn't keep the 300. I kept the 20 minutes in mind, sir.
Okay, ठीक है. Even for a 20-minute episode is falling less. It is
Okay.
whatever you have written. ये 10 या 12 मिनट मैक्सिमम बन सकेगा. ठीक है.
Okay.
ये
Okay, sir.
20 मिनट तक नहीं जाएगा. देखो ये क्वेश्चन इसीलिए तुम लोगों को दिया गया है एग्जाम में, ओके, कि तुम्हारा ग्रास्प ऑफ टाइम, स्क्रीन टाइम, your sense of time, and that is very important. You must, as aspiring film students, okay, you must be able to understand the concept of screen time. मैं जो कहानी लिख रहा हूँ, this is not a script, but though you have written it almost like a script, okay.
Yes, sir.
So they will try to understand the difference between script and story. Okay, script,
Yes.
everything has to be visual. You write a script the way when you read it out. Whoever is listening to you must be able to see the visuals. That is script, or that is the
Right,
scene.
Yes,
You've
sir.
already done that in the last couple of exercises. And what is the story? Story, you did not use the visual language. Story can be sweeping. वो जिंदगी से परेशान है, kind of अभी सोच रही है वो क्या करे, घर में एक बेटी है, kind of. So the story could have incorporated, if you had written this in the story form, which need not be a visual form. Okay, you could have included a lot of more incidents. Okay.
So then, sir, so then in story, can we write what's going on in her mind, her internal conflict?
देखो वो भी नहीं लिखना चाहिए क्योंकि तुम्हारा स्टोरी से ही स्क्रिप्ट बनेगा, है ना.
Right,
So
sir.
what
Yes, sir.
I'm saying कि this is very challenging. but 300 वर्ड के अंदर तुम कितना कुछ लिखोगे which can make a 300 a 20-minute episode. So you could have written it like this instead of going into too much of details. A middle-aged woman suffering from COVID, a serious case of COVID, who had just lost her husband to COVID also, contemplates killing herself by jumping off the hospital building, and this is your starting point, okay.
Yes, sir.
But there are other people around. The other people around in the terrace, so she has to avoid them and make the effort to jump. She manages to get a spot, but when she's about to jump, her daughter, who's 10-year-old, calls her. Kind of. So you have to kind of abbreviate. You have to kind of condense the details. यहाँ पे तुम्हारा detailing सही है, okay, but this is almost like the actual script. Okay,
Right, sir.
one can actually shoot this. Okay, so तुम्हें ये details जरा condense करो story में, condense the details, don't elaborate on the details. Okay, and then write. So this is actually 12 minutes. This is not 20 minutes.
Okay, sir.
And this is a difficult question actually. ये question जो prompt जो तुम्हें दिया गया है कि 300 वर्ड के अंदर तुम 20 मिनट का एपिसोड लिखो, a story, not a script. This is actually very difficult. Okay, but let's see, because I'll also find it difficult to write. What you have written is actually a very good 10 to 12 minute episode, but not a 20-minute episode.
So then in the exam, will they give a like space limit in the sheet?
हाँ देगा देगा।
So
यहाँ
do
पे भी
we
तुम्हें
need to fit in that, like keeping the 20 minutes in mind, or how?
20 मिनट इन माइंड तो डेफिनेटली 20 मिनट का एपिसोड बनना चाहिए, ठीक है ना।
Okay.
हाँ, तो अगर 20 मिनट के एपिसोड में क्या क्या घटना हो सकता है,
हम्म,
पहले वैसा विजुअलाइज कर। 20 मिनट का दिमाग में लिखने से पहले 20 मिनट, so that I can stretch, I cannot, stretch is not the right word, so that I can, make a 20-minute episode starting from this point. What all can I show? Just start thinking in your mind, and then you start working around this too. Work this too.
Okay, fine, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
ये difficult है ये, this question is very very difficult. Okay, चलो अभी रोनी आ जाओ।
Yes, sir. She sees her daughter downstairs in the school dress, eating ice cream with left hand and has a big red balloon in her right hand. Her daughter enters the ground floor and finishes the ice cream and tries to open the lift. She presses the button, but lift doesn't open. She tries again, and this time lift opens and she enters and presses the last full number. Rani puts her phone into her pocket and opens her arms in the air, having in her eyes, and closes her eyes. Tears fall from her eyes through cheeks. You need to scroll down.
अच्छा एक सेकंड। Rani puts her phone into her pocket. Okay, so what was she doing with the phone, Rani?
Actually, her daughter called and she did receive that. She just turned off that.
But how will the audience understand the daughter had called?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, chalo then.
Suddenly, she hears voices of her daughter and opens her eyes. She turns around and finds her daughter scared. Rani says her daughter to stop there while crying, but her daughter gradually comes ahead and Rani says her sorry and cry more. Her daughter asks her that why is she standing there. Rani, while crying, says sorry. The daughter also starts crying. Rani says, I'm sorry, my love, I don't have any other way. Her daughter comes ahead while crying, and Rani warns her not to come, but her daughter runs fastly while crying towards Rani. 5 seconds later, speed of her daughter gets slow, and her daughter falls after seeing this. Rani loses her balance and she is about to fall down, but she loses her weight towards her back and falls down on the roof. Few packets of white powder gets down from her pocket of shirt. She gets hurt but gets up and runs toward her daughter. She picks her daughter up but her lap in her lap and shakes her, but she doesn't give any response. She puts her fingers on her daughter's vein and to nose. She calls to ambulance. She takes her daughter on her shoulder and runs downstairs through lift. She reaches to ground floor and waits there 10 minutes, but ambulance doesn't arrive. And then she calls to her friend Sunita. Sunita receives the call and after listening her, tells her to bring her daughter to Care Child Hospital. She takes the auto rickshaw and arrives to the hospital. Sunita is standing there at reception. They both go to emergency ward with Rani's daughter. The daughter is taken inside. They are stopped at the door. Rani is crying at the gate. Sunita hugs her. Rani runs toward outside. Sunita is standing there. Rani takes a auto rickshaw and arrives to temple of goddess Durga. She rings the bell and prays. She says, I will leave everything, cocaine, heroin, and gambling, just to save my child. I will live for my daughter, but save my daughter. She cries there and suddenly she gets call from Sunita and told that her daughter is fine. It happened due to food poisoning. Finally, she decided to leave and breathe sigh of relief.
देखो तुमने यहाँ पे, हाँ तुम्हारे कितने वर्ड्स कितने हैं बोलो पहले, कितना वर्ड्स तुमने लिखा?
300 के आस-पास है, ज्यादा नहीं।
ज्यादा नहीं है, 300 से ज्यादा नहीं है। अच्छा ठीक है। देखो ये जो तुमने काफी सारे घटना तुमने लिखा जो जिससे तुम्हारा 20 मिनट का बन सकता है, ठीक है। दुर्गेश्वरी, आर यू देयर? दुर्गेश्वरी?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
हाँ, you heard this ना, what अभिरोनी?
Yes, sir.
हाँ देखो तुमने क्या किया, तुम्हारा गलती ये था कि तुमने एक ही स्पेस में पूरा अपना थॉट कि आई हैव टू राइट अ पर्टिकुलर सीन का स्टोरी। ऐसा नहीं है, एक एपिसोड में काफी सारे सीन्स भी रह सकते हैं, 4-5 सीन्स भी रह सकते हैं ना।
Yes, sir.
तो
Yes.
अभी रोनी ने वही किया। अभी रोनी का कहानी छत से शुरू हो रहा है, ठीक है, फिर छत में कुछ घटना होता है, वो लड़की गिर जाती है, कुछ होता है लड़की के साथ, when the mother
Yes,
was
sir.
about to, then suddenly she has to change her decision, isn't it? And and so there's, she calls up her friend, the friend tells her आ जाओ अस्पताल में आ जाओ। हाँ, तो ऑटो पकड़ती है, ऑटो जाती है रास्ते से। तो यहाँ पे अभी रोनी तुम ये भी लिख सकते थे कि एक लाइन ऐड कर दे सकते थे कि रास्ते में बहुत जाम है, तो ऑटो को भी मतलब ऑटो इज आल्सो टेकिंग, हाँ, तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट would have intensified the conflict. Okay, तो बहुत सारे घटना है और टेंशन है, which is very important in a good film or a good episode. Okay, and she reaches the kind of, then she goes to the temple and asks, prays to God and talks to God, and then so a lot of things are happening, which I think is enough for a 20-minute episode. तो ये 20 मिनट का एपिसोड बन सकता है, and I think it's good. ठीक है ना? Though I'm not very sure about the word count. Okay, so, and of course it's also very visual. Okay, so most of you have been able to grasp the language of visual writing, which is good. Okay, yeah. So she's about to fall. She loses her weight towards her back and falls down on the roof. Few packets of white powder get down. So उसका character भी थोड़ा सा establish हो जाता है. White powder, हाँ. So she's a druggie. Okay, and so why was she trying to kill herself?
Because she was facing the problems. She was not able to quit the drugs addict, and that's why she decided.
But that is not clear, nah? That she was not getting the drugs. That is why she wanted to kill herself.
I have mentioned that she is saying to God that I will leave the cocaine, heroin. The last few lines.
ना वहां से तो वहां पे पता चलता है, लास्ट में पता चलता है कि हाँ वो she is addicted to drugs, but she was not getting the drugs she needed, वो नहीं पता चलता है. So why she was trying to kill herself, उसका reason पता नहीं चलता है. Generally क्या होता है, तो वो clear नहीं है why she was trying to kill herself. जैसे कि दुर्गेश्वरी का वहां पे कहानी में पता चल रहा था, she suffered from COVID, she knew she would die, so she is trying to kill herself. यहाँ पे it's not clear why she is trying to commit suicide. Generally क्या होता है कि ड्रग एडिक्ट्स को जब ड्रग्स नहीं मिलता है किसी वजह से या पैसा नहीं है, they become very desperate. They are ready to steal from people and kind of they get into withdrawal mode and all. Okay, I don't think they want to kill themselves. So bolo, हाँ.
So I have written here, I will leave everything, cocaine, heroin, and gambling, just save my child. I will live for my daughter. So she was just going to die, and when this accident happened, then she decided that she will leave everything what is bad for her, and then she decided to live.
सही बात है, लेकिन वो why was she trying to commit suicide? Prompt क्या है? Prompt है ready to jump. Rani was standing on the roof of 30 story, ready to jump. She takes her and suddenly 10 साल की लड़की उसका फोन करती है. Ready to jump मतलब suicide करने का कुछ, तो suicide करने की कोई वजह तो होगा. Okay, otherwise it's okay. There's enough incidents to maybe देखो if it is a part of a series, maybe suicide करने का वजह तो previous episode में दिखाया है. तो वो भी हो सकता है. ठीक है, so ठीक है, fair enough. चलो श्रेया आ जा तुम.
Yes sir, good evening.
Shreya, just all of you, just when you start reading, show your face.
Sir, I'm actually outside.
ठीक है, चलो. Shreya.
Maybe it will be dark. Is it visible, sir?
No, I can't. So anyway, it's not a big deal. तुम पढ़ो.
करो ऐसे आप श्रेया पढ़िए बस केवल, क्योंकि अगर नहीं है तो ठीक से पढ़ नहीं पाएंगे आप.
चलो.
Rani is standing on the railing of the roof of her 13-story building. She is sweating excessively. Her feet are shivering and she is closing her fist tight and trying to gulp her breath. It's around midnight. The locality where she lives in is dark. Only few lights of the building around are lit up. Sound of cool breeze is heard mildly. In that, a constant phone ringing sound comes from Rani's pocket. First few times she couldn't hear. She heard the 8th ring of her phone. She takes out and finds missed call from her daughter's phone. She closes her eyes. Cut to flashback. A small girl playing with colors in the hall of an apartment very cheerfully and calling her mum. Two hands holding a camera recording the child's activity. The camera is turned towards the person who was recording, revealing Rani. She joins the little girl. From the door behind the little girl, an old lady comes and starts accusing Rani for bringing the child home and claims Rani to leave the house if she keeps the girl. Cut to present. Rani comes down the railing and picks the 9th call. Listening to the call, she gets panicked and leaves the roof. The camera follows her. She continues her conversation over the call. She is found to promise someone about returning to home and lying that
Next
she is
second, Shreya, avoid camera in positions and angles. And the camera follows her. You're writing a story. This is not a shooting script.
Yes,
Even in a script, you don't indicate camera positions. Okay.
okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Chalo then.
Yeah. And lying that she is stuck in traffic. She is also found to scream and yell at the person with whom she is on call, scolding and saying that to stop. Rani hurries to the lift, presses 7 thrice, and reaches home panting and gasping. Immediately, she goes to the balcony and finds her 10-year-old standing at the balcony railing, asking for Rani to come soon. She pulls her daughter, hugs her, and kisses her all around. At that time, and at that time, the help says her that the adoption papers are approved and now she is the legal mother of the kid. Rani cries hard and promises her kid that whatever happens, she'll never be left or abandoned how she was by her biological parents and how Rani is abandoned now from her parents.
Okay, I'm just wondering whether, the story is clear. Initially, when she was recording this woman, I'm trying to make sense of what you have written. When she was recording that child, suddenly an elderly woman comes and starts scolding, isn't it?
Yes, sir. That's a flashback scene.
I know. It's a flashback scene. Comes, starts accusing Rani for bringing the child home and claims Rani to leave the house if she keeps the child. So, mother-in-law hogi, something like that.
No, actually, sir, I tried to portray that that's a mother. Like she is a single girl and
okay.
Yeah. And later on, the kid has been abandoned from her family, so she kept her. But now, for keeping her, she has been abandoned from her parents.
Okay, because she was not allowed to keep the kid, she decides to kill herself, isn't it?
Yes.
And then because of telephone calls, the camera follows her. Listening to the call, she gets panicked and leaves the roof. The camera follows her. She continues conversation over the call. She's found to promise someone about returning to home and lying that she's stuck in traffic. She's also found to scream and yell at the person with whom she's on call, scolding, saying that to stop. Rani hurries to lift, presses 7 tries and reaches her flat, isn't it? This is a flat.
Yes.
Flat. Don't write home. Panting and gasping, immediately she goes to the balcony, finds her 10-year-old railing, asking for Rani to come soon. She pulls her daughter. But this is adopted daughter, na?
Yes, sir. Adopted daughter.
Yeah. Okay. And she was recording this daughter only, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Also,
yes.
Okay. And kisses. So when she comes down, she finds that girl is already there in the flat.
Yes, sir. She finds that she is also in the railing of the balcony. Like whatever she is trying to do, she was also standing at the railing of the roof. Okay. Similarly, her daughter also standing at the railing of the balcony and playing. And she gets panicked that if she falls or something happens to her daughter, what will happen?
Where is the mother? Mother-in-law is the elderly woman.
Like last line I've mentioned that so Rani is abandoned now from her parents. Like maybe I assume that the parents have not allowed her to keep the
Okay,
child.
okay, okay. Rani cries hard and promises her kid that whatever happens, she'll never be left or abandoned. How she was by her biological parents, and now Rani is abandoned now from her apna parents. Rani ka apna parents.
Yes,
है ना?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but she didn't know when she was on the roof. She didn't know that this 10-year-old child is in the flat.
Actually, sir, like there I mentioned that she received the 9th call, and listening the call, she gets panicked. Maybe the help who is now informing her that she's legally adopted mother has informed that your daughter is on the railing of the balcony and not listening to me. So you come fast and make your, like, she's finding you, because there I have mentioned a line that she immediately goes and finds her 10-year-old standing at the balcony and asking for Rani to come soon.
Okay.
So yeah.
ठीक है, clear है. So I think this is enough material for a 20-minute episode. And you have also inserted a flashback scene to explain the situation, the backstory basically. ठीक है, this is good enough. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Anything better I could incorporate?
No, just avoid camera positions. Okay. And also avoid cut to words like cut to flashback, because you're required to write a story, not a script.
Yes, sir. I misunderstood it because that is that.
So
whether I should write a
तुम
script
क्या
or-
कर सकते थे? She closes her eyes and thinks back a few days before. Things back a few days before, when a small girl playing with colors was playing with colors in the hall
Like
of an
when we're
apartment.
asked to write a script, we can use these terms, but when we're asked to write a story, we can
Yeah. Even in a script, even when you're writing a script, there's a difference between script and a shooting script. Okay. It is when you write the script, you write only the action, and if there are dialogues, you write the dialogues. You don't indicate the camera angles. We go close, cut to a close up, then we cut wide. You don't mention all these things when you're writing a script. Even when you're writing a script, it's only when you're planning to shoot, then you break the scene that you've written, the script that you've written, into shots. We हम लोग short division बोलते हैं, short breakdown बोलते हैं. Shot 1 long shot होगा, shot 2 close up होगा, shot 3 the camera pans left to right, or the camera goes close, tracks close. Okay, so we indicate the camera positions. So avoid all kinds of camera angles and these kind of things, and technical terms like flashback. So यहाँ पे, because you are required to write a story, you could have written, she thinks back to the day and a couple of days ago when a small girl was playing with colors and all. So we immediately know it must be a flashback when you write the song.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है?
Okay, sir.
Okay, चलो.
और एक दूसरी चीज सब लोग जरा नोट कर लीजिए, अगर कोई दूसरा आदमी पढ़ रहा है तो उसमें आपको भी यहाँ पर रहना है क्लास में। आप सो जाओगे ये सोच के कि भाई मेरा तो हो गया, मैं तो घर जा रहा हूँ अपना कहीं, तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला। और जैसे यहाँ पर आपके सामने रंजन जो है मॉनिटर पे बैठा हुआ है, आपको भी 2 घंटे मॉनिटर पे टाइम फिक्स करके निकालना है। ये जो स्टेटमेंट होता है, आई एम आउटसाइड, this is not really the way you shows your sincerity toward the work which we are doing here. अब बात समझ रहे हैं? तो मेरा काम हो गया, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि मैं बस बात खत्म। अब जो दूसरे आदमी ने जो गलतियां की हैं उससे भी आप सीखिए, ठीक है? चलिए।
ओके, एकाग्रा आ जाओ। एकाग्रा, you there? Ekagra is not there.
नाम है इस लड़के का जो नहीं है?
नहीं, he was there regular last couple of classes. Okay, Adrija Kundu, तुम भी आ जाओ।
Yes, sir, I forgot the name of the protagonist was supposed to be Rani.
अच्छा ठीक है, चलो।
शालिनियो, कोई भी।
Okay.
I wrote it like a script also, sir.
ठीक है, चलो, as long as we can cover a 20-minute episode and the word limit, you have respected the word limit. There's nothing
Yes.
wrong in it.
So
Okay.
that's why I didn't incorporate the backstory and all.
Okay. ठीक है, चलो.
Shalini, a woman in her early 40s, is standing on the terrace ledge of a building. She's looking down and it's a quiet road. Her face is blank and her mascara is smudged. Tear marks at the corner of her eyes is visible. Her phone rings. She jolts at the sudden sound. Looking lost for a moment, she takes the phone out of her pocket and sees Suhana calling. Ma, where are you? I'm unable to breathe. A little child's voice fades away on the other end. Phone hangs up. Suhana, are you okay? Suhana, screams Shalini. Just then, the fire alarm of the building goes off. Shalini leaves the ledge of the terrace and rushes inside the building. She presses the lift button impatiently. She opens her heels and runs down several flights of stairs to her house. Floor second, it shows. On reaching the floor, her face fills with terror and she hurriedly opens the front door. There's smoke in the house. Half of the living room is catching fire gradually. Suhana, screams Shalini. She rushes to her room, quickly closes it. The cabinet door opens. A child of 10 years old, clothes drenched in sweat, jumps out. She hugs Shalini and bursts into tears. Don't worry, we'll be okay, assures Shalini. She opens the door and huge amount of smoke bursts inside the door. Shalini closes the door hurriedly and grabs the bedsheet. Sound of fire truck can be heard at a distance. She makes knots out of bedsheet and makes a rope out of it, hangs it by the window. She takes another sheet and wraps Suhana around her body. She climbs down with the help of the rope from the second floor. Several people and neighbors have surrounded the building. The fire truck has arrived and is putting out the fire in the apartment. Shalini holds Suhana and sits at the foot of the tree. Suhana looks at Shalini and says, "Thanks for saving me, Ma." Shalini bursts into tears.
Yeah, it's almost like a script and not a story. And this will fall a little short of 20 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. It cannot be stretched to 20 minutes. और एक second है कि are you looking at this as a one-off single episode or is a part of a series? That's very important. Because you see, Shalini, a woman in the 40s, face is blank and mascara smudged and all, clear marks of phone rings. Terrace. So when she's standing on the terrace of a building, we know
Yes.
she's about to commit suicide, isn't it? Kill
Yes,
herself.
Yes.
It's only the telephone call which breaks her kind of decision. So she hurries, she jolts at the sudden sound, lost for a while. She takes the phone out of her pocket and sees Suhana calling, "Ma, where are you? I'm unable to breathe." A little child's voice fades away. So you have not shown the reasons for her
No,
decision to kill herself.
It was like a script.
Yeah. So if you look it like a script, okay. So maybe the reasons, that is why I asked you, right? Are you looking at it as a one-off episode, a short?
One of
No, then if it's a one-off episode, the audience would want to know why a cat is trying to kill herself. If it's a
Yes.
part of a series, then maybe
Right.
the episode before that has established why she wants to kill herself. Okay, na? Which you need not
So
bother
I
about.
understood, sir, why it has to be a 20 minutes episode where everything has to be like laid down.
So if it is everything has to be laid down, then you should have indicated somehow
Yes.
why this woman is
Why-
trying to kill herself.
And so I just kept thinking I have to write like a script. That's why I wrote like this. The short.
नहीं देखो सबको समझ लो देखो स्क्रिप्ट और स्टोरी का फर्क है ना स्क्रिप्ट तो the way you have written it, this is the language of script. Yeah, everything is visual, everything is concrete in terms of visuals and all. Okay, a story can kind of condense a lot of incidents in a single small sentence. She keeps on looking for the missing object and spends considerable time looking for the object all around her flat, like this. So this is a very sweeping sentence. This sweeping sentence can be, when you write the script, when you convert this line into a script, then you have to get into the details. Bedroom mein dhoond rahi hai, kitchen mein dhoond rahi hai. I'm talking about another situation, not this situation. Okay, so you can break it down, expand that particular line into, you can write, in a story, you can write Rahul comes to Bombay and looks for a job for the first couple of months, but does not get a single job. Full stop.
So
Okay.
we can condense the time in a few sentences.
But when you have to translate that, Rahul comes to Bombay looking for a job, struggles for 3 months, does not find a job. Now you have to script में अब इसको script में language में transfer करोगे तो तुम्हें अभी individual scenes सोचना पड़ेगा. समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
Yes, so in a short story, when we are writing a short story, we have to incorporate the background so that the reader knows what is why.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
we steer clear of explaining what is going on in the head, in the mind.
नहीं देखो जैसे कि तुमने सत्यजीत रे का चारुलता देखा क्या?
Yes, sir.
If you remember the first sequence where the woman, it's a 8-minute real-time sequence of the woman
Yes.
moves from room to room and all, fiddling with, looking at the world outside, fiddling with objects and all. Okay, now if you read the story by Rabindranath Tagore, it's based on a short story by Rabindranath Tagore.
Yes.
Okay, this
I've
detail, the detailing वहाँ पे नहीं है ना, because he was a man of, he was a poet, he was a man of ideas, he was not good with plotting. So what he must have written, कि Charulata is a lonely and bored housewife, full stop.
Yes, that's all.
हाँ, so ये जो चारुलता is a lonely and bored housewife, ये तो writer ने लिख डाला. अब तुम तो फिल्म मेकर हो. हाँ, चारुलता is a lonely and bored housewife is a language of story. ठीक है ना? तुम कहानी ऐसा लिख सकते हो. लेकिन जब स्क्रिप्ट लिख रहे हो, अभी तुम्हें दिखाना पड़ेगा कि मैं कैसे दिखाऊं she is lonely, मैं कैसे दिखाऊं she is a bored housewife.
Right.
seeking company. So you have to come up with visuals or actions. What is she doing? How do I convey that she's bored? A bored person loses interest in something very fast. She's doing something, she immediately loses. She does something else. She loses interest. She does something else. So by her action, we can understand she's bored. So that is why the single line by Tagore, Charulata is a lonely and bored housewife, has been stretched into an 8-minute sequence in the film. Am I making sense?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
तो वो कहानी है तो कहानी में लिख सकते हो lonely and bored housewife, so which is not visual at all, which is just an information. तो कहानी में information आ सकता है, ठीक है ना? लेकिन script में the information has to be kind of concretized, visualized, shown, ठीक है? So this is actually a difficult question and a trick question, because most of you have been hammering into your heads for the last 1 month, visual language, be concrete in your details and all. That is what you have done, all of you, till now. But अभी तुम फंस जा रहे हो कि अरे it's not sufficient enough to have a 20-minute episode. So go back to the question and see. तुम्हें स्टोरी लिखने के लिए बोला गया, सीन नहीं लिखने के लिए बोला गया, या स्क्रिप्ट नहीं लिखने के लिए बोला गया, है ना? ओके, चलो.
ये जो बात अभी रंजन ने बोली है, आप लोग जरा इस बात पे ध्यान रखिएगा कि वहां पर आपको क्या पूछा जा रहा है. आपको पूछा जो जा रहा है केवल उसी का जवाब देना है, ना कि और जो डिटेल्ड वाली चीजें हैं. अगर वो डिटेल वाली चीजें पूछी जा रही हैं, वो आधे लोग ये गलती करते हैं वहां पर. आधे समझदार लोग जो अपने आप को समझदार समझते हैं कि हम तो सेंट स्टीफन से पढ़ के आए हैं, हम तो हिंदू कॉलेज से पढ़ के आए हैं, उनको ऐसा लगता है कि हिंदू कॉलेज में पढ़ने के बाद बहुत समझदार हो जाता है. Until unless you don't understand this domain of story, screenplay, and shooting script.
Shooting script, yeah.
Different terms. What he said earlier, I do not want to interfere there. What is the difference between a script and a shooting script? Right, in a 300 word and 6 pointer. ये भी थोड़ा अपना प्रिपरेशन, हर चीज नहीं करवाई जाएगी यहाँ पर. तो जो पढ़ाया जा रहा है उसी में से आप जो है, you should be able to prepare a question out of it.
वहां से टेक ऑफ करो, जो भी हम लोग डिस्कस कर रहे हैं ना, वहां से तुम टेक ऑफ करो.
मैं एक क्वेश्चन बना दिया कि खड़ा बैठ के द डिफरेंस बिटवीन ए स्क्रिप्ट एंड ए शूटिंग स्क्रिप्ट, मेंशन द 5 पॉइंट्स. समझे आप लोग? चलिए.
ओके, अशरुल्लाह आ जाओ.
यस सर.
पढ़ो.
Rani is standing on the railing of a very tall building. She looks down and sees vehicles running on a nearby road. She raises her left leg and is about to jump. Suddenly, her phone rings and she sees an incoming call from Anushka. Rani takes a deep breath and takes the call. Teacher. Mrs. Rani, Anushka fell while playing football and had injured her knees. Could you please come and take her home? Rani, voice shaking. Yes, yes, I am coming. Rani runs and enters the lift. She presses fifth floor and exits as the gate of the lift open. She enters a gate which had a Lieutenant Samir Singh nameplate. She grabs the keys and again goes inside the lift. Hurriedly presses G. She comes out of the lift and goes to the parking and unlocks a Ciaz. She enters the car and drives to the Holy Child School. She goes inside and gives the key to the guard standing at the entrance of the school and runs panting towards the infirmary. She sees Anushka, a 10-year-old girl dressed in red skirt and cream shirt, crying. She had bruises on her knees. Rani goes to her, kisses her several times, and hugs her with tears in her eyes. Flashback. Rani is browsing Flipkart, sitting on a couch in front of a television, seeing a couple of Raymond's shirt on Valentine's Day collection and adding them to cart. She could hear the voice on a news. She can hear the voice of a news anchor explaining Bollywood gossips in a show called Saas Bahu and Sajish. She selects two shirts from the cart and places the order. She is writing the delivery address, Lieutenant Samir Singh, 132 Battalion, Rajasthan Rifle Camp, Jammu and Kash. She was about to complete the address suddenly hears the anchor on news channel announcing the breaking news. A convoy of military attacked at Pulwama. Explosion kills 40 Jawans. Lieutenant Samir Singh among the martyrs. The phone from her hand fell and she starts sobbing loudly. The next moment she is on the roof. Present. Rani and Anushka are in car driving back home. Anushka is licking her chocolate flavored ice cream and Rani is looking straight on the road, wiping her tears.
देखो, what I like here is basically तुमने why this woman was wanting to kill herself. तुमने एक flashback में एक reason डाल दिया, ठीक है ना? Again, as I was telling somebody, when you are asked to write a story, don't use words like flashback. She thinks back on that particular day when she was ordering. और इतना story है ना? देखो, अभी जो if you are alert, if you were there when I was discussing the assignments with the other students, okay, कि ये तुम्हें स्टोरी लिखने के लिए बोला गया, स्क्रिप्ट नहीं लिखने के लिए बोला गया. स्क्रिप्ट में तुम डिटेलिंग करो, तुम डिटेलिंग किया, तुमने ये स्क्रिप्ट की तरह लिखा. तो ये जैसे कि तुमने क्या डिटेलिंग कर रहे हो कि वो जब जा रही है, वो पहले वो फ्लैट में जाती है, देन वो अपना कार निकालती है. She just write instead of writing a paragraph, that paragraph, just write she drives her car speedily through the city and reaches the school and hugs her child. ठीक है ना? तो इतना डिटेलिंग में नहीं जाने का है. Okay, and Holy Child School. Okay, and then flashback में तुमने Flipkart में browse कर रहा है और at the same time वो एक प्रोग्राम भी देख रही है. तो तुम ये और भी शॉर्टन कर दो ना. ये तुम कैसा शॉर्टन कर सकते हो? स्टोरी का लैंग्वेज यूज करके. She looks back at the day. She thinks back on the day when she was browsing through Flipkart and ordering stuff on the cart, and listening to a gossip program on a phone. When suddenly on television, news of her husband comes up, who dies along so many other Jawans in a terrorist attack. बस देखो, ये जो पूरा पैराग्राफ तुमने लिखा, वो आधे में हो जाएगा, है ना? तुम अगर डिटेलिंग नहीं करोगे तो आधे में हो जाएगा. तो ये तुम्हें याद रखना पड़ेगा. And now both the mother and daughter, they are inside the car driving back home. Last छोटा सा sentence ठीक है, but still I think कि ये 20 मिनट का, I wonder, it's almost like 17 minutes, 18 minutes, but I don't think it might fall a little short of an 18-minute episode. Sorry, a 20-minute episode. ठीक है ना? लेकिन तुम्हारा कोशिश अच्छा है and तुम्हारा रीजनिंग भी तुमने दे दिया थ्रू फ्लैशबैक. ओके, कि क्यों वो लेडी जो है सुसाइड करने का कोशिश कर रही थी. ठीक है? ओके.
Sir, the thing we have to keep in mind is that if there we have to write a story, we can mention the things like she is thinking and all. But when we have to specifically write about scene, we will present the exactly visual things on paper.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, got it, sir.
ठीक है. प्रशांत आ जाओ.
Yes.
चलो start.
Rani 34 is this is the question, sir. Rani steps back, picks up the phone and says, हाँ फ्रिज के अंदर रखा है, गरम करके खा लो. She goes back to the edge of the roof, ready to jump. She looks down at the busy traffic and honking on the road and takes a step back again. She picks up her phone and dials. Hello? फ्रिज में नहीं है, बाहर ही रखा है, हाँ खा लो वहाँ से. She keeps her phone back and stands back at the roof, ready to jump, when suddenly she sees her neighbor, same age as Rani, looking at her while putting her clothes on the fire. Rani stands back, smiles at her neighbor and starts acting as if she dropped something. My phone, Rani says. Her neighbor keeps looking at her. Rani's phone starts ringing. She looks at her neighbor in embarrassment, takes her phone out of her pocket, cuts the call, and walks away. Rani enters her home, where her daughter is watching TV while eating. Above the TV is a photo of a man who is the same age as Rani. It has a garland over it. Her daughter does not notice her, and Rani goes straight into the kitchen, which is a complete mess. Rani sits down, holding her head, when suddenly the doorbell rings. Rani walks up to the door and opens it. A man around 50, bald, fat, and wearing a gold chain and watch is standing at the door smiling at her. She opens the door completely to let him enter, and he goes straight into the bedroom. Rani looks at her daughter as she leaves the house. Rani then goes to the bedroom and locks it. The man keeps a stack of 500 rupee notes on the table and starts to undress himself. Rani also undresses herself slowly, and when she is completely nude, is pulled towards the bed.
देखो या ये कहानी समझ में आ रहा है. ओके, लेकिन अगेन जो है आई डोंट थिंक या इट्स वेरी ऑब्वियस कि तुम्हारा फोटो ऑफ अ मैन हु इज द सेम एज एज रानी, इट हैज अ garland over it, मतलब husband होगा, he is dead, that is why the garland. Okay, and now she's finding it difficult to maybe maintain the family. Okay, that is why she was contemplating suicide, but thanks to the call from the daughter, okay, she comes back. So she is in a conflicting situation, and when she comes back, and there's a fat man, bald fat man who enters wearing gold chain and all, and we know now she's prostituting herself to survive for the sake of her family, and the girl is also used to it. Okay, and that is why she bought the kind of very casually. Rani looks at her daughter and she leaves the house. Rani then goes to the bedroom and locks it. Okay, ये कहानी अच्छा है तुम्हारा, लेकिन मुझे लगता नहीं है कि ये 20 मिनट का बनेगा. ठीक है, तो माँ और बेटी के बीच में ये भी अच्छा डिटेलिंग, छत पे डिटेलिंग जो है, नेबर का डिटेलिंग भी बहुत मुझे अच्छा लगा. Okay, looking at her while putting her clothes on the wire, Rani stands back, smiles at her neighbor and starts acting as if she dropped something. My phone, Rani says, her neighbor keeps looking at her. Okay, ये भी अच्छा है, लेकिन again this would be a little less than 15 minutes. ये तुम 20 मिनट नहीं बनेगा, है ना. तो again the main problem is you have written it like a script. Okay, so you should have written it like a story. So when writing like a story, you could have incorporated a couple of more events maybe. ठीक है ना, and बस वही है. तो it's less than 15 minutes, it's not 20 minutes.
Okay sir, I'll thank you.
Okay, Ananya, आ जाओ.
Hello, sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah.
I read the screen. Yeah. So, okay, I'll start reading. The red dupatta fluttered against the cobalt blue sky. The bruised feet balanced itself on the thin grayish slab. The cold, strong wind ruffled Rani's hair and kurta. Tring, tring,
Rani removes her phone from her palazzo pocket to find it's Nisha's call. Hello, Rani muttered in a deadpan voice. Where are you, Mama? I'm hungry, said Nisha pleadingly. Nishu, you will find some cupcakes in the fridge I made you yesterday. Okay, Mama. Mama, can you get me a teddy bear, some crayons, and some blank cards from the market? Said Nisha innocently. Nishu, I don't think I can get you anything from now on. Anyways, why do you need crayons and cards? Asked Rani, trying not to break down. Mama, it's a surprise. I can't tell you. Chuckles Nisha into ponytails. Mama loves you, Nishu. Tell me what it is for. Tears welling up in Rani's eyes. Mother's Day, Mama. Oops, I wasn't supposed to say it. Rani's
Just a moment, just a moment. Ananda, we are losing you. We are losing your voice. Oops, I wasn't so. Acha, I'll read out. Okay, let me just a moment. Just a moment. Ananda, just a moment. Hello.
Hello.
Ananda, we can't hear you. We are losing your voice.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'll do,
Yeah,
I'll read out the rest.
Hello, yeah.
I'll read out the rest.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I think that net.
So I'll read out the rest and just listen to me. Okay, because the voice is getting truncated.
Okay, sir.
Oops, I wasn't supposed to say it, blurted Nisha. Rani's white kurti was wet, but she still holds on to the phone call with her sliced hands. Nishu, wish me Mother's Day now. Happy Mother's Day, Mama. I love you. Come home and bring me chocolates from the market. I love you too, Nishu. I will bring you chocolates next time. Bye, Nishu. He removes his belt and keeps on hitting her till she is knocked unconscious. Manish would lose her every single day at home. Rani was just an object to her, a place where he could vent out his frustration and anger. This went on for years till it broke Rani. Her Orthodox parents wouldn't accept her. Her Orthodox parents wouldn't accept her, neither could she escape Manish. If only Rani was educated. Thoughts of the past come to Rani one last time. She jumps off the roof of a building and finds peace forever and ever. देखो तुमने क्या किया, तुमने शुरुआत में इतने सारे डायलॉग्स लिखा कि ये जो डायलॉग्स जो है ये माँ बेटी के बीच में ये 5 मिनट में खत्म, लेस देन 5 मिनट में खत्म हो जाएगा. Okay. Screen time अगर तुम देखोगे, this is a test of your understanding of screen time. ठीक है, तो तुम विजुलाइज करो क्लॉक, hold your watch, run the stopwatch and try to try to time your whatever you have written. Okay, so तुम देखोगे ये जो पूरा मदर और डॉटर का जो है वो 5 मिनट में खत्म हो जाएगा. Suddenly you write a sentence, sorry, a paragraph. Okay, this entire paragraph. Which have highlighted जहाँ पे तुम पूरा back stories and kind of why she has reached this particular stage you have explained. Okay, and it can cover a lot of scenes, a lot of incidents, a lot of, so this would not this would be more than 20 minutes. This paragraph itself will be more than 20 minutes. इतने सारे घटना है कि तुम्हें पूरा दिखाना पड़ेगा ना, तुम तो मोन्ताज के तरफ से तरीका से नहीं दिखा रहे हो.
So if I can, like for example, this paragraph, if we are doing like montage या edit में, मतलब थोड़ा थोड़ा करके, then I guess it can be finished, right? So if we like
it can be finished, but that is also not a good way of kind of suddenly you break the rhythm, ना. Suddenly तुम्हें एक montage के through से तुम पूरा एक explanatory mode में चले जा रहे हो. You know, explaining why she's trying, this woman is trying to kill herself. It will break the rhythm. So I don't have an immediate answer to this solution for this. Okay, but again, as I've been telling the others also.
Sir, I have a doubt. So you think, if I would have cut down a little bit on the dialogue, little down, and I would have expanded this paragraph a little more, then it would have made more sense.
Yeah. तुम लोग अभी क्या है, ये बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन है, तो सब कोई फंस गए सीन राइटिंग में फंस गए, है ना. तो इसीलिए तुम लोग वो 20 मिनट वाला ये तो ज्यादा हो गया, 20 में से बहुत ज्यादा हो जाएगा, 40-50 मिनट तक. ठीक है ना. ओके, चलो. लीना शर्मा. Leena, shall we take a small break?
हाँ ले लेते हैं, ब्रेक ले लेते हैं।
10 मिनट का ब्रेक ले लेते हैं, थोड़ा सा स्टूडेंट्स लोगों का भी।
7:03 हुआ है, 7:13 पे विल बी बैक।
हाँ, ओके
ओके। और सब लोग गायब मत हो जाना, सब लोग वापस आना।
हाँ, गायब मत। हाँ
मेरा तो हो गया, मैं तो घर जा रहा हूँ, अपना छुट्टी हो गई स्कूल की।
Yeah, Leena Sharma, are you there? Leena Sharma, you're not there? चलो और 2 मिनट रुक जाते हैं। कहाँ गए तुम लोग? Vasala, you're there? Are you guys there? किसी का जवाब नहीं आ रहा है। Who's there? Excellent. Chat में किसी का, yes, we are here. So yeah, so okay, Vasala, you are not there, and Leena Sharma is not responding. That she's also not there. Vasala is not there, and okay, I'll scroll down. And Arun Kumar PS, you are there?
Yes,
Arun,
sir. Yes.
okay, so start reading your stuff.
Okay. Hello.
हाँ बोलो।
The 13th-story building is one of the oldest buildings in the city. Rani, a 13-year-old lady, is seen as a tiny spot at the top of the building.
Mhm.
She is standing at the edge of the rooftop.
Mhm.
She can see the whole city,
Mhm.
parking lights, moving vehicles, busy streets, etc. Everyone is busy. Her husband is also there somewhere in that busy town. She is wiping tears from her eyes, but it keeps flowing. She looks down and steps back. Again, steps forward to the edge of the roof and closes her eyes. Suddenly, her phone starts ringing and she opens her eyes and takes the phone from her pocket. Her daughter's photo pops up on the screen. Her daughter's photo pops up on the screen. She takes the call. Daughter, Mom, where are you? Online class is over. Right. I'm there at Farah Andy's house. Daughter, I'm hungry. Please come fast. Rani, it's there on the table. You take it. Daughter, let's eat together. I'm waiting. Rani comes down, get inside her home. She looks at the photos hanging on the wall. It's been 12 years. Rani and her husband had a smiling face in the old photos. A slight smile comes and fades over her face. She opened the phone's gallery. There is a photo of her husband kissing a young lady. She wipes the tears and gives food to her daughter. Where is Papa? Daughter asks to her. She can't hold the tears. She holds her daughter and starts crying.
Okay, again, the same problem. You have written it like a script. This will not even be a 10-minute episode. है ना? कि the first paragraph, 13-story building is one of the oldest buildings in the city. Rani, 30-year-old lady, is seen as a tiny spot at the top of the building. She's standing at the edge of the rooftop. She can see the whole sky, sparkling lights, moving vehicles, busy streets. Your visuals are very good. Everyone is busy. Her husband is also there somewhere in that busy town. She's wiping tears from her eyes, but it keeps flowing. She looks down and steps back, again steps forward to the edge of the roof and closes her eyes. So she's hesitating whether to kill herself or not. Okay. So ये तुम्हारा 1 मिनट में खत्म हो जाएगा. Screen time. I'm talking to screen time. 1 मिनट में जो तुमने एक paragraph लिखा 1 मिनट में खत्म हो जाएगा. Suddenly her phone starts ringing and she opens her eyes and takes the phone from her pocket. Her daughter's photo pops up on the screen. She takes the call. Daughter बोलती है, Mom, where are you? Online classes over. I'm here at Farah Auntie's. I'm hungry. Please come fast. Is there on the table? Take it. Let's eat together. I'm waiting. Your telephonic conversation. 15 seconds max. 10 seconds. हाँ.
Okay.
तो छत का जो पूरा हिस्सा जो entire roof का जो portion है, maximum 90 seconds. 1 minute 30 seconds maximum. Okay, it would be less actually. Rani comes down, gets inside a flat. She looks at the photos hanging on the wall. It's been 12 years. Rani and her husband had a smiling face in the old photos. The slight smile comes and fades over her face. ये पूरा जो है coming down and looking at the photos and all. Chalo, 20 seconds, maximum 30 seconds. She opens phone gallery. There's a photo of her husband kissing a young lady. She wipes the tears and gives it to her daughter. Where is Papa? Daughter asks. She can't hold her ear. She holds her daughter and starts crying. So this is another 30 seconds. So your thing will be over in less than 3 minutes. You don't have sufficient material to have a 20-minute episode. Again, you have committed the same mistake like most of the other students. You have got into the details. What was required is story material for a 20-minute episode. Kahani chahiye, story, not the script. So when you write the story, from the story, a script will be written. Okay, so a 20-minute for a 20-minute episode. And I'll tell this to everybody, whoever is here right now, if you are using a professional software, okay, like Final Draft, there's a professional software called Final Draft. There's another professional software called Celtx, CELTX, okay, and there are other professional softwares. They're very easy to use. They're very expensive, but you can find pirated versions download from torrent and all. Anyway, so if you and most filmmakers and writers today all over the world, including India, they use this Final Draft or any of these writing softwares. It has a particular format. Actions are from, when you're writing the actions, go from left to right, then you're writing the dialogues. They're like a column which appears in the middle of the page. Okay, that is the script form. So if you're writing a 20-minute episode, suppose, or a 20-minute film, and all the scenes have dialogues, okay, it is generally assumed that 1 page of a professional script writing software, 1 page is equal to 1 minute. So if you're writing a 20-minute episode or a film, so it will be 20 pages, isn't it? 20 pages. But generally, kya hota hai? If you write 20 pages, it is more, the duration of the episode or the film is more than 20 minutes. It becomes 23 or 24 minutes because the actors take pauses, and there's a lot of moments where there aren't any dialogue. So if you are trying to write a 20-minute episode, then a number of pages which has dialogues, all the scenes have dialogues, and it should not have more than 17 pages or maximum 18 pages. If it does not have dialogues, okay, then the action, the action should be more. Okay, so it could be 12 pages or 13 pages. Okay, if it does not have dialogue at all. Okay, so it has to have minimum 12 to 13 pages. Okay, and if it has dialogues, it has to have 18 pages. If you're looking at a 18-page script, तुम्हारा क्या है? It's 1 page. So 1 page matlab it will be like maximum 2 minutes.
Okay.
समझ गया what I'm saying? And I'm saying this to everybody.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, एक second. Okay. Okay. Who else is there? Shani, you were there?
Yes, sir.
Chalo, Varun.
Rani's heart is beating very fast as she takes a step closer to her death, standing on the roof alone. Her palpitations are increasing. Suddenly, she receives a call from her daughter, tears well in her eyes, and she is visibly crying. Her cry getting louder and louder. She throws her phone away and jumps when suddenly a hand grabs her wrist and pulls her back. She struggles against the man, but he overpowers her. She cries in his arm. The man is known to her. She refers to him as Bhai. Who told her? And does she really know? Were the constant questions on the lips of the woman. The man had no answer for it. They reached her home, and Samantha, her daughter, is playing with her toys. Upon seeing her mother, she tries to climb on her. Rani is relieved, but soon she sees her ex-husband emerging from the other room. They both then have a verbal fight. The ex-husband accuses her of being an ill fit for the role of the mother, and that even his daughter knows that she's a prostitute and she has heard it from school. Rani starts crying again when Samantha comes to her and hugs her and asks her if she has stolen something from anyone, to which she answers no. Her daughter then asks her if she has been rude or harmed anyone, to which she answers no again. Finally, Samantha asks her if she loves her or not, to which Rani nods and gives an emphatic yes. Samantha then confesses that that is enough for her. She will never leave her mother. It doesn't matter what others say at school. She's glad to be her daughter. Samantha then goes to the other room and fetches the drawing she made of her and her mother, for which she won a first prize at a drawing competition. Her husband, seeing this, leaves disgustedly, and her brother stands in the corner, even though he is in tears.
20 मिनट बनेगा? क्या लगता है?
I don't think so. नहीं.
Look again. Again, what you have done, like most of the others, you've got into the script mode.
Yes,
got
sir.
into the details.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And though you have not written the dialogues as much as in direct speech, you have indicated a lot of things. Okay, but it is not written in the story format. Okay, this is almost like a script format.
Yes, sir.
Isn't
I was
it?
actually confused, so I thought maybe I'll just mix a bit of historical elements and then.
It's a very trick question. Trick question in the sense that this question is required to find out from you your understanding of what is the story and what is the script. और एक चीज मैं सबको बताना चाहता हूँ, whoever is present, कि जब तुम कहानी लिख रहे हो, फिल्म स्टोरी, वहाँ पे डायलॉग्स मत लिखो, ठीक है ना? Like if you have a situation, two brothers are quarreling about the father's property. So just write the brothers start quarreling about the father's properties and they start accusing each other of stealing from their father's share. Don't write the dialogues. Okay, then you're using up the space. So it has to have sweeping lines. Okay, तो यहाँ पे तुम डिटेलिंग में चले जा रहे हो और जो हो रहा है, ये तुमने जो लिखा है, शानी तुमने जो लिखा, ये हार्डली देखो, I think 7 minutes का फिल्म बन सकता है, एपिसोड बन सकता है ना? मैक्सिमम 8 minutes का. And I was just telling the previous student कि professional software, I don't think any of you are aware of these professional softwares which are available. Final draft software, cell tags. Okay, so 1 page is equal to 1 minute approximately. ऐसा होता नहीं है. Suppose you will read 10 pages, so the film becomes 13 minutes or 14 minutes. Okay, so usually so if you're writing for a 20-minute episode, so don't write 20 pages. If it has a lot of dialogues, okay, then we should write 17 pages. So if you write 17 pages or 16 pages, we know it's going to be a 20 minute का एक duration वाला film हो या episode. ठीक है ना? So ये दिमाग में रखना.
Sir, I had a question.
बोलो.
Sir, हम लोग को जब ऐसे short story लिखने को बोल रहे हैं, are they asking us to write an outline for a short film?
Yeah, almost like exactly. You're supposed to write an outline, but don't write it like an outline. Okay, outline is like a sentences we write.
Yes,
ठीक
sir,
है,
yes.
प्रोफेशनल. ओके, पर यहाँ पे तुम्हें जब स्टोरी लिखने के लिए बोल रहा है, राइट, you can visualize or you can conceptualize an outline and rewrite the outline into like a story.
Acha, okay.
So yeah, that might help you to approach the question better.
Okay, so I'll keep this in mind.
Okay, Shani हो गया. ओजी बिजू आ जाओ. See, I saw you present, I think. Ah, you were there. Let's see, where are you?
है ये यहाँ पे लड़का कहाँ गया ये? ओजी ब्रिजपुरिया. हेलो, कैन यू हियर इट?
उसी को मैं देख रहा हूँ, लेकिन
ये ना ये ऑफ अपना ऑन करके घूमने चले जाते हैं, फिर इनको लगता है हमारा आधे घंटे बाद आएगा, फिर हम आ जाएंगे और फिर थोड़ा भूल जाते हैं बीच में घूमते हुए. कोई बात नहीं, भाविक पटेल होगा. भाविक पटेल
आ जाओ भैया. भाविक
आ जाओ.
यस सर.
आ जाओ.
रानी 13 मंजिल.
शुड आई रीड सर?
हाँ, पढ़ो पढ़ो. हाँ.
रानी 13 मंजिला इमारत की छत पर खड़ी होकर कूदने को तैयार थी. अचानक उसका फोन बजने लगता है. वह अपनी जेब से अपना फोन निकालती है और देखती है कि उसकी 10 साल की बेटी उस तक पहुंचने की कोशिश कर रही है. यह देखकर रानी अपनी बेटी का फोन काट देती है. रानी की परी फिर से अपनी माँ को फोन लगाती है. रानी फोन उठाती है और अपनी बेटी से बात करती है. रानी परी को बहाना बताती है कि मैं अभी कुछ सामान लेने बाजार आई हूँ और आधे घंटे में घर वापस आती हूँ. यहाँ बोलकर रानी तुरंत अपना फोन काट देती है. अपनी बेटी की आवाज सुनकर रानी घबरा जाती है और रानी को अपनी बेटी के साथ हुआ एक हादसा याद करती है. 7 साल पहले यह हादसा तब हुआ था जब परी 3 साल की थी. उनका पहला माला उसी 13 मंजिले की इमारत में है. ऐसे ही एक दिन जब रानी किचन में खाना बना रही थी, तब परी अपने ड्राइंग रूम में खिलौनों के साथ खेल रही थी. रानी अपने काम में इतनी मशगूल थी कि उसे पता ही नहीं चला कि कब उसकी बेटी खेलते खेलते उनके फ्लोर की बालकनी तक पहुंच गई और वहां से खेलते खेलते एकदम नीचे गिर जाती है. जैसे ही कुछ गिरने की आवाज आती है, रानी देखती है कि उसकी बेटी ड्राइंग रूम में नहीं है. फिर वह बालकनी की ओर दौड़ती है और अपनी बेटी को नीचे गिरा हुआ देखती है. वह बहुत घबरा जाती है और तुरंत सीढ़ियां उतार कर अपनी बेटी के पास पहुंचती है और देखती है कि वह बेहोश पड़ी है और खून भी बह रहा है. रानी तुरंत अपनी बेटी को स्कूटर पर अस्पताल ले जाती है. जांच करने के बाद और रिपोर्ट देखकर डॉक्टर बताता है कि आपकी बेटी को सर पर चोट लगने के कारण कोमा में चली गई है और छोटी सी सर्जरी भी करनी पड़ेगी. पूरा 1 सप्ताह बीतने के बाद परी को होश आता है. यहाँ पूरा सप्ताह रानी के जीवन में मौत समान था. ना वो कुछ खाती पीती थी, ना वो ढंग से सो पाती थी. रानी सिर्फ ये सोचती थी कि कैसे मेरी बेटी फिर से उसमें आ जाए और मुझे माँ कहकर पुकारे. अपनी बेटी को वापस जिंदा देखकर रानी की आंखों में आंसू आ जाते. जैसे ही परी आंखें खोलकर अपनी माँ को देखती है और बोलती है माँ. यह शब्द सुनकर मानो रानी को एक नव जीवन मिलता है. उस दिन 2 जिंदगियां बच जाती है, एक परी की और दूसरी रानी की. आज का दिन यह हादसा सोचकर रानी जोर जोर से रो पड़ने लगती है. रानी तुरंत अपना पैर पीछे ले लेती है और सुसाइड करना कैंसिल कर देती है. वह फटाफट अपने घर पहुंचती है. जैसे ही रानी दरवाजा खोलती है, परी आवाज लगाती है माँ. रानी अपनी बेटी को गले से लगाती है और चुपके से उसके कान में बोलती है थैंक यू बेटा. आज भी 2 जिंदगियां बच गई, एक रानी की और दूसरी परी की.
Let me go to the first paragraph. First paragraph में रानी 13th मंजिल इमारत की छत पर खड़ी होकर कूदने की तैयारी थी. अचानक उसका फोन बजता है. वो अपनी जेब से अपना फोन निकालता है और देखती है कि उसकी 10 साल की बेटी उससे तक पहुंचने की कोशिश कर रहा है। ये देखकर रानी अपनी बेटी को फोन काट देती है। रानी की बेटी बड़ी फिर से अपनी माँ को फोन लगाती है। रानी फोन उठाती है और अपनी बेटी से बात करती है। रानी बड़ी को बहाना बताती है कि मैं अभी कुछ सामान लेने बाजार आई हूँ और आधे घंटे में घर वापस आती हूँ। ये बोलकर रानी तुरंत अपना फोन काट देती है। अपनी बेटी की आवाज सुनकर रानी घबरा जाती है और रानी को अपनी बेटी के साथ हुआ एक हादसा याद आती है। तो यू कट बैक टू 7 years ago। ओके, सो देखो 7 years ago जो घटना है एंड काफी सारा इट्स क्वाइट पैक्ड। आई थिंक एक पूरा जैसे तुमने लिखा एक पूरा पूरा एक हफ्ता बीतने के बाद परी की होश आता है। तो ये जो पूरा एक हफ्ता बीतने के बाद परी की होश आता है, तो 1 week ऑफ टेंशन, मदर का टेंशन, यहाँ पे बहुत सारे सीन्स घटना तुम लिख सकते हो। आई थिंक योर्स इज वन ऑफ दोज रेयर सबमिशंस टुडे, यू नो, व्हिच कैन बी मेड इनटू अ 20-minute एपिसोड। फॉर
Thank you, sir.
एग्जांपल, जैसे कि ये जो पूरा लाइन तुमने लिखा है, एक लाइन से कितने सारे सीन्स आ सकते हैं। देखो, पूरा एक हफ्ता बीतने के बाद परी का होश आता है। दिस आई एम टेलिंग एवरीबडी, हाँ, दिस इज द लैंग्वेज ऑफ स्टोरी। पूरा एक हफ्ता, 1 week शी स्पेंड्स इन टेंशन, so this can be expanded into a whole lot of scenes. Okay, and she's visiting the hospital, talking to the doctors, going to the temple, you know, for not being able to sleep, struggling. Okay, the relatives coming and trying to comfort her. Okay, so this particular account that he has written has the potential of a whole lot of scenes which can be made into a 20-minute proper episode. Okay, so this is पूरा एक हफ्ता रानी के जीवन में मौत समान था। ना वो कुछ खाती पीती थी, ना वो ढंग से सो पाती थी। रानी सिर्फ ये सोचती थी कि कैसे मेरी बेटी फिर से होश में आ जाए और मुझे माँ कर कर पुकारे। अपनी बेटी के वापस जिंदा देखकर रानी की आंखों में आंसू आ जाती है। So this entire paragraph can be expanded into itself, you know, screen time of at least 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, then you cut back to the present and she changes her decision. तो यहाँ पे सिर्फ एक चीज सही है, why she is trying to kill herself? वो क्यों अपने आप को मारने का कोशिश कर रही है? बोलो।
वो सर जो स्टार्टिंग था वो मैंने ले लिया है सर, मैंने कुछ दिखा नहीं है पहले के,
वो एक्सप्लेन नहीं किया तुमने। अच्छा, ठीक है, चलो ये सही है। एटलीस्ट वी हैव वन सबमिशन टुडे व्हिच हैज मेड जब आउट कोई नहीं है। ओह माय गॉड।
So, my
कहाँ पे है तुम्हारा? इसी डॉक्यूमेंट में है या अलग से भेजे थे? ऊपर है?
yes, sir, it should be in the beginning. I actually got late to the class today.
So what's your name? What's your name?
Sir, Ekagra.
अच्छा, एकाग्र।
कब भेजा था एकाग्र सिंगल आपने?
Sir, the day I send the first.
यहाँ पे 4 number prompt 2 ये रहा। ये है क्या आपका?
Yes sir, yes sir.
चलिए,
ओके, चलो पढ़ो।
थोड़ा रहा करो, पार्क में घूमने मत जाया करो। पार्क में घूमने के लिए 6 बजे से पहले टाइम होता है बेटा। FTI जाना चाहते हो जिंदगी में तो 2 घंटे यहाँ पे डिवोट करना चालू करो, वरना कुछ होने वाला नहीं है। ध्यान रखना। 10 सीटें होती है वहां पे और 5 होती है खन्ना मल्होत्रा शर्मा गुप्ता के लिए। एक होती है SC, एक ST और 3 OBC। याद रखना जिंदगी में। And being a boy, I'll tell you something else also.
Yes, sir.
That out of 5, 2 seats are reserved for girls candidate. It is not written anywhere in the prospectus, but I am telling you the truth. Look into the track of the past. Okay, so you are left with a 3 seat. So stop this evening walk and be here at sharp 6 o'clock.
Got it, sir.
Okay, चलो पढ़ो।
The sudden buzzing and ringing of the phone in her jeans' back pocket threw her off balance as she hovered to stabilize herself, as she scarily looked at the ground far away from her, while she stood at the railing at the top floor of the building. She takes a deep breath and pulls out the phone, looks at the screen showing Kuchu calling as she picks up the call. Mama, where are you? Beta, I am around only. Bolo kya baat? अरे जल्दी आओ. This is really interesting. What is? The मछली we have in the aquarium, उसके eggs में से और fishes निकले हैं. Mama, I'm so happy. Okay, beta, coming right away. She put the phone back into her pocket and walked back to the ledge. As she looked at the vast expanse of space, her head tilting upwards, while she looked at the sky with a muted silence. Her hands press hard on the ledge, and her brows make an inverted arch. A tear trickles down her right eye. She smiles and rubs off the tear after she dusts off her hand with her jeans. She pulls out a cigarette and a lighter, lights it and pulls in a drag, and bursts, crying with a wailing voice. She cries for a little while as she smokes the cigarette and keeps smoking even though there's no tobacco left, and the smell of the burning bud starts emanating. She feels the heat between her fingers, throws it, stubs it with her shoes. With her hands on her waist, she stands and looks at the sky, takes a deep breath, shakes her head, and walks to the door leading to the stairs. She pushes it open and shuts it as she leaves.
क्या लगता है तुम्हें 20 मिनट बनेगा?
नहीं सर, that's why I put in the smoking scene.
तो देखो जबरदस्ती पैडिंग भी मत करो. स्मोकिंग तुम्हें एक कैरेक्टर को दिखाओगे वो 10 मिनट तक स्मोक कर रही है. तुम सोचो you're an audience, you're watching a film or an episode, television episode, where you show a character smoking for 10 minutes and nothing else is happening.
Not really, so that is extremely boring.
So again, like the rest of most of your colleagues, students, you have got into the details. Detailing sahi hai tumhara, very visual hai, dikhai de raha hai, like that is what is not required in this particular question. You are required to write a story which will have enough materials, to expand it into a 20-minute episode. That is the purpose. ये थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट है, मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा इजी है, समझने का कोशिश करो. और ये इसका देखो रीजन ये है क्वेश्चन का कि ये टेस्ट करने के लिए कि स्टूडेंट्स लोग को स्क्रीन टाइम का पकड़ है कि नहीं. समथिंग कॉल्ड द स्क्रीन टाइम. मैं एक घटना दिखा रहा हूँ पर्दे में, अप्रोक्सीमेटली कितना सेकंड्स हो सकता है. वी थिंक इन टर्म्स ऑफ सेकंड्स व्हेन यू राइटिंग अ स्क्रिप्ट, not in terms of minutes. And a 3-minute scene today is considered a large scene. Most scenes are like less than 1 minute. There are of course exceptions, like Quentin Tarantino will write a scene which is 20 minutes long, but those are exceptional cases.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So ये question जो है ये just to assess your grasp of screen time.
Got it, sir.
Chalo then, who else is left?
Thank you.
शुरुआत में मैं किसी का देखा था शुरू से पहले. I don't think anybody else is left.
And then can you give them a little tips, because there are still 20 minutes, about how to develop what are the elements which they need to take care of it while writing a story, not the script or not the scene, but a story, and which is from cinema point of view and not from the literary point of view.
Of course, yeah. देखो ये पहले भी हम लोग the first month, this is the second month. First month में and all of you wrote I think a couple of stories, film stories. You're given prompts. Okay. देखो first of all ये है कि even if when you're writing a film story, यहाँ पे a film story, there's something called the action plot. I'll just write down action plot. What is an action plot? This is a very important thing. Okay. Action plot. Okay. What is an action plot? The film ka story, we read a lot of novels, we read a lot of short stories. लेकिन her short story, no matter how interesting is that, her novel, every novel, no matter how interesting is that particular novel, we cannot make a film out of that. Okay, because why? Because sometimes we read a very interesting novel, and what is lacking in the novel is sufficient number of incidents, okay, which can be translated into action. By action, I don't mean fights. Action is something happening. You know, the main character, who's we call the protagonist, he needs to be engaged in doing something. Okay, suppose you read a short story or a novel जहाँ पे तुम्हारा main जो character है, तुम्हारा main जो protagonist है, most of the time he's in a contemplative mode. वो सोचता रहता है जिंदगी कैसे बह गया, अब वो क्या करेगा जिंदगी से. He's thinking a lot about why he has arrived at this particular situation, a sad situation maybe. Okay, so there's a lot of backstories, a lot of incidents. Okay, and that has influenced his life, and that is why he's in this kind of a situation today. Okay, then he goes on to contemplate what else can I do with life. Okay, so this kind of a story could be very interesting reading, but he's hardly doing anything. So your character, I'll write it down. Your character needs to do something. That is, do something. So that is called the action. That is what constitutes the action plot. Okay. So कोई भी जब तुम कहानी पढ़ते हो, short story हो या novel हो, तुम देखो तुम्हारा main जो character है वो कुछ कर रहा है कि नहीं, या ज्यादा सोच में डूबा हुआ है, ज्यादा contemplative है. Okay. So even if you are reading a story which has a balance of both action plot and whatever he's contemplating about, thinking about, okay, you have to be able to, if I'm talking about adaptation, okay, then I'll come down to original stories. Okay, तो तुम्हें वो जो सोच रहा है, बैक स्टोरी जितना है, जितना हो सके वो तुम हटा दो. ठीक है, और अभी जो क्या कर रहा है वो, what are the decisions, what are the choices he's making in life, what are the decisions that he's taking. Okay, concentrate on that. That constitutes your action plot. So similarly, in your question paper, when you're writing a story, whether it's 300 words or whether it's 500 words, okay, you need to focus on the action plot. Action plot मतलब तुम्हारा main जो character है is faced with a situation, and situations need to be a problematic situation, and now how he's trying to kind of try to negotiate the situation, the problematic situation. Okay, so he has to be engaged in something. He has to be doing something. Okay, so suppose, forget the exams, you're writing a 4-page story, which we do generally when we're conceiving of a feature film. You know, a feature film, if you're using a Final Draft or professional software, we use professional softwares like, as I was telling you, Final Draft, Cell Taxi, a minimum, approximately not more than 120 pages. Generally, studios or production houses look at scripts. They prefer scripts which are like 100 pages. So 100 pages ka tum agar script likh rahe ho, which includes the dialogues, of course. You know, that does not mean that the film would be 100 minutes. It is generally a little more than the number of pages. Okay. So before we write a script, we have to crack the story. If you don't have a story, you cannot write a script. So the story has to be in place. And the story has to be in place, but if it's a feature film story, then it is better that you write the feature film ka story, kahani likho pehle, in 4 pages. 4 pages मैं इसीलिए बोल रहा हूँ, 4 A4 size pages, इसीलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि 4 pages में तुम main plot, अगर सब plots है तो सब plots भी आ जाएंगे. Okay, hero का हमारा जो main character protagonist हम लोग बोलते हैं, not use the word hero, उसका desire क्या है, उसका goal क्या है, उसका मोटिवेशन क्या है, वो क्यों मोटिवेशन मतलब वो क्यों करना चाहता है. ठीक है, बैक स्टोरी में ज्यादा मत जाओ. हल्का अगर बैक स्टोरी का जरूरत है टू एक्सप्लेन द प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन, हल्का सा रेफर करो. ट्राई टू कॉन्सेंट्रेट ऑन द प्रेजेंट स्टोरी. ओके, ट्राई टू अवॉइड फ्लैशबैक्स एज मच एज पॉसिबल. Okay, try to avoid explanatory scenes as much as possible. Anyway, so when you're writing a story for a feature film, whether it's a short film or a feature length film, you concentrate on the action of the character. Okay, for example, a very popular film called Chak De India. वहाँ पे हीरो जो है शाहरुख खान, कबीर खान जो कैरेक्टर है, is disgraced because of his religion, because of his name. Okay, so he takes it upon himself the responsibility कि मैं ये लड़कियों का एक टीम जो है, जो disunited है, disorganized है, कोई hope नहीं है. Okay, and nobody is interested also in girls team. So I'll train these girls. Okay, and prove myself, of course, and redeem my name because मुझे गद्दार बोला गया था. Okay, 7 साल बाद वो आता है. Now the entire film concentrates on the action plot. वो कर क्या रहा, वो सोच क्या रहा है, उसमें मत जा. Okay, उसके बचपन, वो उसका बचपन कैसा बीता और उसका कॉलेज डेज कैसा बीता, वो सब में नहीं जाने का है. Because your film is about, first of all, try to figure out what is my story about in a single line. Single complete grammatical sentence. My story is about a character who is trying to do something. What is do something is what is the story about. Okay, so concentrate on the action plot, things that he's doing. Okay, and don't कहानी लिख रहे हो डिटेलिंग में मत जाओ. डिपेंडिंग, अगर 300 वर्ड में तुम्हें लिखने बोल रहा है या 600 वर्ड में लिखने के लिए बोल रहा है, डायलॉग्स तो भूल ही जाओ, डायलॉग्स लिखो ही मत. Even if you have dialogue situation, because dialogues take up a lot of space. Okay, dialogues तुम तभी लिखोगे जब तुम फाइनल स्क्रिप्ट लिख रहे हो, ठीक है ना. स्टोरी जब लिख रहे हो, avoid dialogues. Okay, you can write sweeping sentences. Rahul tried for several years to get into FTI and attended all the coaching classes and all, but still he couldn't make it. Out of sadness, he gives up his efforts to enter FTI and he decides to become a gangster. Okay, ये जो मैंने 2 लाइन बोला, this is a language of the story. मतलब देखो, he tries several years to get into FTI. So he's several years trying to get into FTI. So ये तुम अब ये this is the language of the story. इसको तुम अगर visualize करोगे तो script बनता है ना. So suppose you have got another sentence like story का language बोल रहा हूँ. Rahul falls in love with Geeta and tries to get close to her over the next couple of weeks whenever she goes to college. This is the language of story. Now Rahul falls in love with a girl called Geeta and tries to get close to her over the next couple of weeks whenever she goes to college. This is information. This is the language of story. Okay, अब तुम script जब लिखोगे तो ये action plot हो गया ना. तो what he's trying to do, verb is very important. The use of verb is very important. Okay, so he's trying to get close to a girl. Okay, so जब script लिखोगे अभी, तो तुम अभी individual situation सोचो. वो लड़की अपने ऑटो में सहेलियों के साथ कॉलेज जा रही है, मे बी राहुल उसका पीछा कर रहा है साइकिल. वो लड़की कॉलेज से निकल रही है गेट में से सहेलियों के साथ, वो ऑपोजिट फुटपाथ में राहुल बैठ के उसको देख रहा है. ओके, वो लड़की गोलगप्पा खा रही है अपने सहेलियों के साथ, तो वो भी गोलगप्पा खाने के लिए चला जाता है. ओके, तो ये 3-4 ऐसी सीन्स अगर दिखाओगे तो तुम्हारा कहानी में क्या था, लाइन क्या था कि राहुल हैज फॉलन इन लव विद दिस गर्ल एंड ट्राइंग टू गेट क्लोज टू द गर्ल. Now what you are doing, you are trying to expand this into scenes. It's becoming slowly becoming scenes. It's becoming a script. Okay, so in a story you can write sweeping sentences, sweeping lines, which has the potential to potential of scenes. और verb, use of verb. Don't write राहुल जिंदगी में किसी भी लड़की से पहले मोहब्बत नहीं की, वो पढ़ाई में डूबा रहता था, लेकिन ये पहली बार जिंदगी में ऐसा हो रहा है कि लड़की को देखता है और उसके मोहब्बत में. ये सब लिखने का जरूरत नहीं है. वो एक्सप्लेनेशन मोड में मत जाओ. तुम अभी क्या हो रहा है, अभी का अभी, immediacy, the immediacy of the situation. Immediacy, immediacy. It's an immediacy. Immediacy is very important in the film story. अभी का अभी क्या हो रहा है, अभी क्या एक्शन वो कर रहा है to achieve his goal, to get the girl, or to kill that person who has killed his father. Okay, what are the choices he's making? If he's making 11 choices, don't get into the 11 choices in details when you're writing the story. थोड़ा सा sweeping line में लिखो. He thinks of killing, he thinks of different ways of killing his father's killer. What are the different ways of killing the? Tu wo detailing mein mat jao. Okay, then he drops the idea and he thinks of something else. How not to kill the man but make his life miserable. Okay, but how he's trying to make his life miserable? Story stage mein utna detailing mein mat jao. Okay, so concentrate on the action plot hum log bolte hain. Don't get into the interiority of the character so much. That is the domain of literature. Interiority matlab what is happening inside the character ka mind. Cinema is about externals, externalizing. Cinema is about, जैसे Elia Kazan, a very famous American director, उसने अच्छा चीज कहा था. Cinema is about translating psychology into behavior. मतलब literature is the domain of psychology. Literature is about what happens within people. Cinema is about what happens between people. Try to understand the difference. The behavior, the action. So the biggest challenge of cinema is how do I externalize the interior thought process of the character. समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? Okay. So this is how you should conceive कि मेरा कैरेक्टर तुम लोग वो कर रहे हो, तुम लोग जब स्क्रिप्ट मोड में लिख रहे हो, आज के जो भी सबमिशंस आए थे, all of you are doing exactly that because you're writing a script, because you wrote a script instead of a story. स्टोरी में भी उसका उल्लेख मतलब उसका पोटेंशियल रहना चाहिए और सीन में वो पोटेंशियल हैज टू बी मैनिफेस्टेड, हैज टू बी शोन. क्लियर है? सो हम लोग काफी उस टाइम बहुत अच्छे अच्छे शॉर्ट स्टोरीज पढ़ते हैं लेकिन वहां से फिल्म नहीं बना सकते क्योंकि वहां पे एक्शन अगर है भी, एक्शन प्लॉट जो है बहुत मिनिमल है. ज्यादा क्या है, इंटीरियरिटी है, कैरेक्टर क्या सोच रहा है. ओके, तो जो दिखाना मुश्किल हो जाता है फिल्म. सो नॉट एवरी शॉर्ट स्टोरी और नॉवल कैन बी अडैप्टेड इनटू फिल्म्स. Am I making sense?
Sir, I have a doubt.
हाँ बोलो.
सर वो आपने अभी बोला ना सिनेमा में जो साइकोलॉजी के बारे में, that sentence, who's the director?
Elia Kazan. I'll write down.
Thank you.
Elia
famous film है उसका On the Waterfront.
On the Waterfront. ये शुरुआत से ही ये चैलेंज सिनेमा वालों को होते आ रहा है, अभी भी होता है. रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर का तुम अगर शॉर्ट स्टोरीज पढ़ोगे या नॉवेल्स पढ़ोगे, ही इज सो डिफिकल्ट टू अडैप्ट फॉर द वेरी सिंपल रीजन ही वाज नॉट गुड विद प्लॉटिंग बिकॉज़ ही वाज अ पोएट. प्राइमरीली ही वाज अ पोएट. वो भाव के ऊपर लिखता था. हिज मतलब उसका शॉर्ट स्टोरीज पढ़ोगे, it lacks descriptions. He will write sweeping sentences, sweeping lines which covers one line will cover 2 years or 3 years. है ना? So अभी तुम हाँ?
Another doubt. So sir, art films जैसे कि art films या रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर या वर्जीनिया वुल्फ, writers like these, they have उनका वही है कि लिटरेरी जॉनर और आर्ट फिल्म जिसमें प्लॉट इज नॉट दैट इम्पोर्टेंट. और मीरा ने इसके मूवी प्लॉट उतना नहीं है बट विजुअल्स और जो वैसा है. हाउ कम दीज थिंग्स कैन बी adapted into cinema? Because
challenge वहीं पे तो becomes more difficult. That is what I'm trying to say.
but it because can be done, sir.
Can be. वही मैं चारुलता का, तुम अगर चारुलता का शॉर्ट स्टोरी तुम पढ़ोगे और अगर फिल्म देखोगे, चारुलता में जो जितने डिटेलिंग है वो डिटेलिंग टैगोर थोड़ी क्या है. हाँ, वो डिटेलिंग टैगोर के दिमाग में आएगा ही नहीं. ओके. हाँ, लेकिन जो डायरेक्टर जो है सत्यजीत रे, फेमस डायरेक्टर, वो अब जब सोचा यार इसको मैं फिल्म बनाना चाहता हूँ, तो ही वाज फेस्ड विद दैट प्रॉब्लम. Okay, कि how do I kind of show her that she's lonely, desperately seeking company. She's so lonely. The husband does not have time for her. How do I show the loneliness? How do I show her boredom? जो आसान है राइटर के लिए, आसान है कि चारुलता is a lonely and bored housewife, full stop, लिख डाला one of the sentences. But how do I show, which is a very important point in the story. That is why she falls in love with her husband ka cousin. Because they are of the same age, they have the same interest in literature and music. They start bonding and she falls in love with this man. Okay, so तो ये जो है तुम्हारे scenes जो है वो scenes are not written, that those scenes are not there in the Charulata short story. I don't remember, read it so many years ago. He must have written like this: when the cousin comes and they start spending days together and bonding together through literature and music. You know, so they start bonding together through literature and music. This is a very sweeping line. Now, if you want to make a film out of this, you have to visualize how do they bond through literature. Okay, they're bonding through literature. मैं क्या scene visualize कर सकता हूँ, क्या scene दिखा सकता हूँ? And they're talking about a particular author, maybe Bankim Chandra. They're talking about another author, maybe. They're reading from the same book, maybe. So let me write a scene. तो वो scene देख के audience को समझ में आएगा. They're bonding through literature. They're bonding through songs. ठीक है ना? So there are writers who are very difficult to adapt, but the stories are so interesting because the action plot is missing. Okay, there's a lot of interiority. Okay, so that is the biggest challenge. जैसे सतरंज की खिलाड़ी जब बना रहा था, तुम अगर 3 पेज का शॉर्ट स्टोरी है, तुम अगर देखोगे मुंशी प्रेमचंद का कहानी अगर तुम करोगे 3 पेज, वहां पे वाजिद अली शाह का मेंशन ही नहीं है. यहाँ पे तुम फिल्म देखोगे तो वाजिद अली शाह का एक मेजर एक सबप्लॉट है ना. And when Satyajit was working on the screenplay of सतरंज की खिलाड़ी, so several times, many times he wanted to give up because उसको लगा यार 2 बंदे चेस खेल रहे हैं, ये बहुत ही बोरिंग हो जाएगा पर्दे में, स्क्रीन में लोग बोर्ड हो जाएंगे, क्या दिखाऊंगा मैं, वो चेस खेल रहे हैं, सिर्फ चेस ही खेल रहे हैं, obsessed with chess. How do I show an intellectual game like chess on screen? And people will be bored. So you have to come up with situations which are not. See, I think all of you must read the short story, 3-page ka short story, which is available on the net, both the Hindi version and the English version, Hindi and the Urdu version in translation. Okay? तुम उर्दू वाला भी पढ़ सकते हो, हिंदी वाला भी पढ़ सकते हो in translation, and then you watch the film, सतरंज की खिलाड़ी, and then you see what are the changes he has made and why, and try to find out why he has made those changes. और सतरंज की खिलाड़ी तुम्हें टॉरेंट में, आई होप में मिल जाएंगे, टॉरेंट में या some OTT channel में, some OTT channel or the other must be running somewhere. Okay, so जब तुम कहानी देख रहे हो, फिल्म स्टोरी में उतना डिटेलिंग में मत जाओ जो डिटेलिंग तुम सीन में कर रहे हो, जो आज तुमने किया, जो सही है. आई लाइक योर राइटिंग. ओके, तुम्हें पकड़ आ गया. विजुअल राइटिंग कैसा होता है, व्हाट आई लाइक टुडेज एक्सरसाइज डिस्कशन, तुम्हें विजुअल राइटिंग का पकड़ आ गया. लेकिन ये आज का असाइनमेंट विजुअल राइटिंग में था ही नहीं, है ना. इट वाज अबाउट स्टोरी मटेरियल. कहानी में इतना मटेरियल होनी चाहिए जो 20 मिनट का एपिसोड बने. तुम लोग वहीं पे फंस गए. एग्जैक्टली. स्टीफन किंग और थ्रिलर्स में बहुत घटना होता है. ओके, कोई भी थ्रिलर्स तुम पढ़ोगे, बहुत सारे इवेंट्स होते हैं. डिटेक्टिव कुछ किया, फिर कुछ किया, फिर कुछ किया, फिर कहीं मर्डर हुआ, वो फंस गया, वो भागने का कोशिश किया. So there's a lot of action happening. That's called the action plot. So it becomes easier to adapt. But तुम अगर स्टीफन किंग के राइटर्स, वहाँ पे डिटेलिंग है because they are writing a novel. But you're not supposed to write a novel. You're supposed to write a 4-page or a 300 words. So you have to cut down. You have to condense your information. You have to condense the detailing. Stephen King can devote an entire chapter on how a character runs away from the lockup. Suppose, my random example, a chapter which consists of maybe 5 pages on how he fools the police and escapes from the lockup. You can write 4 pages, but you cannot write 4 pages just on how a character is escaping when you're writing, when your story itself is 4 pages. So वहाँ पे you just write he fools the cops and escapes from the lockup. Okay, so how he fools the cop and escapes from the lockup, वो detailing जो है वो script में आएगा. समझ रहा हूँ मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? Because these guys are writing novels, and these novels are the chapters escaping from a lockup. Is it in such a manner तुम्हें लग रहा है कि ये फिल्म का स्क्रिप्ट है, इतना डिटेलिंग में चले जाते हैं.
मैं आप लोगों को एक 16 पेज का स्टोरी जो है, जो लिटरेरी स्टोरी है, किसी आदमी ने अपनी किसी कलेक्शन ऑफ शॉर्ट स्टोरीज में पब्लिश किया था, उसको मैंने किस तरीके से 2 पेज में कन्वर्ट किया है. I took the right of that story to make a feature film, though it is never made so far. But that 16 pages of a literary story which was published in a book, how that you convert that into a 2 page of a story of a feature film. Now that is a case of feature film.
Yeah.
एक और स्टोरी भेजूंगा जो मुझे कहीं से पकड़ में आई थी. तो उसका नाम है नीली बिंदी. मतलब जो बिंदियां लगाती हैं महिलाएं यहाँ पर माथे पे, उसमें लाल नीली पीली कुछ भी हो सकती है. उस कहानी का नाम है नीली बिंदी. अब वो नीली बिंदी कहानी को तुम पढ़ना. अब अगर मैं आपको एक प्रॉम्प्ट देता हूं कि यू राइट ए शॉर्ट स्टोरी ऑफ ए फिल्म of duration 20 minutes about something called नीली बिंदी. तो मैं और फंस गए तुम लोग. अब तो मैंने एक ही शब्द दिया आपको, कीवर्ड नीली बिंदी. अब लगाओ दिमाग. 20 मिनट का शॉर्ट स्टोरी आपको लिखना है, एक फिल्म का स्क्रिप्ट नहीं लिखना है, शॉर्ट स्टोरी. तो ये प्रैक्टिस जो है, जो ये आज आपको जो असाइनमेंट दिया गया था, ये इसीलिए दिया गया था कि आपको किसी भी सिचुएशन पे, उन्होंने तो एक एलोबरेट करके सिचुएशन बताई है, बट that can be just a simple thing. Red dot, blue dot. और एक फिल्म बनी है, एक फिल्म बनी है जो मैंने बहुत सालों पहले देखी थी, जस्ट ए लिटिल रेड डॉट. लिख लो ये नाम जो है, जस्ट ए लिटिल रेड डॉट. एक इंडियन लड़की जो कनाडा में बेस्ड है, उसने एक शॉर्ट फिल्म बनाया था 15-20 मिनट का, जो मैंने मिफ फेस्टिवल में देखा था आज से 20 साल पहले. तो बनेगी ना, कहानी होगी आपके पास. So start doing this practice. I will send you this mail also, so that you will get the idea how a story can be written around, whether it's a neeli bindi or pili bindi or red bindi or whatever. एक हरी बिंदी करके भी एक कहानी है. So this is how you need to prepare yourself. So I think we are done for today, Ranjan.
Yeah.
I'll connect with you soon for the rest of the thing. Yeah.
Okay. Chalo, bye. Yeah.